Hello wonderful interpreters, and thank you again for tuning in. In this video, we're going to be talking about the decisions that we received from PERK concerning our motion for temporary relief and what's next with our unfair labor practice legal process. You will also see part 2 of our series titled Working Under the L&I Portal. This time you will listen to another interpreter from the Yakima area. Her name is Martha Hipolito, and she will be sharing her experiences with the scheduling system. By the way, part 1 of this series has been already very impactful. Somebody sent me this screenshot this morning where it appears to be that My Language Link, aka Interpreting Works, already deleted the comment section for the bookings. Also, it looks like somebody is trying to silence us. That's a futile exercise, but they tried. We received this email from YouTube concerning our channel. Look at this. It says that YouTube received a privacy complaint regarding the content on this video. Wow. But as you can see on this screenshot, YouTube already said they will not automatically remove my video. Instead, they want me to blur whatever privacy violation might have occurred. However, we have been in contact with YouTube. All the images that we receive for the videos are from private sources, and once something gets into my inbox, in my email, is fair game. So whatever this individual is doing, they know it's not going to work. Guess what? We're here. We're not afraid of anyone. We're here to stay. You're not going to silence us. Good luck with that. Now, let's get into PERK decisions. We are going to start with the decision on our motion for temporary relief. Here you can see that we received this decision last Thursday on June 3rd. Here is our case number with the decision letter. Here you can see the decision letter. Please pause this video at any time in order to read the information that you see on the screen. Also, be sure to pay attention to the underlined words. You can see here that it says that we filed the unfair labor practice on March 30th against L&I for implementing changes while in the middle of our election process. We filed our motion for temporary relief on April 20th, which was intended to scale back the implementation before we have a hearing for the unfair labor practice complaint. We argued to the commission that interpreters are now suffering irreparable damage. Therefore, we needed the bleeding to stop. But here, PERK says that they only grant temporary relief in the courts when they consider it to be appropriate. On the last paragraph of this image, they are basically saying that our allegations, or what we are complaining about, can be remedied later at the unfair labor practice hearing if determined. For example, here they could order back pay for workers if a violation is found by calculating the number of shifts worked by interpreters leading up to the alleged violation. Guys, we have already explained in detail how it's troublesome to wait for the unfair labor practice, but the commissioners didn't see it that way. And that's okay, because it looks like they feel better not touching this issue right now. Instead, they are letting PERK determine a permanent ruling on our unfair labor practice complaint. The last paragraph on this image says that the remedies could include an order returning the status quo, as you can see here. The commission concludes by saying that they are not prejudging the merits, very important, of the underlying case. Again, they're only saying here that we didn't show irreparable damage sufficient to intervene before the unfair labor practice, so our hearing for the unfair labor practice is next. And it's coming soon, where PERK will permanently decide on this issue. Moving on, here we received a decision from PERK on the blocking charge, which is determining if PERK would hold the election until our unfair labor practice is resolved. Here you see how PERK is saying that our motion for temporary relief has been denied, now that the matter will be proceeding to be assigned to an examiner to conduct a hearing. And this is the truth. While WFC is saying that their implementation is here to stay, PERK is saying it's still to be determined, and it's not over. This is not over, guys, not by a long shot. In fact, WFC Local 1671 leaders are scared to compete in the election with us and are kicking and screaming, trying to block this election from happening. Good luck with that. Here, the executive director is clarifying that our showing of interest cards is sufficient and we will move to the election. Dario sent the notice to all parties on May 25th ascertaining this. However, WFC Local 1671 leaders appealed this decision because they don't want us to have an election. They did this just 2 days later, and their appeal is pending before the commission. Guys, this is now a disgrace for WFC. You see, they boast of being a powerful union while trying to avoid the election like a plague. Hey, WFC, if you're so powerful, why are you afraid to compete with the little guys right here? Why? The reality is that they are grasping at straws because PERK already made an administrative decision, and that's that. To end his decision, PERK's executive director says that the representation case will be returned to Dario de la Rosa, who is the administrator assigned to this matter, if WFC appeal fails. Then it will be decided if both the election and the unfair labor practice will unfold at the same time. Now, make no mistake about this. This appeal from WFC to stop the election is only desperation. They know this is not going anywhere. I spoke with PERK's executive director last week, and he said to me that this is the first time ever that somebody appeals an election decision before the commission, especially when the executive director has ruled over this. Oh, what? You don't believe me? Let me show you something. Here, take a look at what WFC conveniently ignored when they filed their appeal. Please read the underlined part here in the law that governs these decisions. It says that the question of whether a showing of interest requirement for a petition has been satisfied is a matter for administrative determination by the agency, meaning PERK, and can't be litigated at any hearing. PERK already made an administrative decision to allow the election to happen. We reached the 30%, we followed the process, we were granted the extensions, and we proved that we always had the 30% from the beginning because LNI's list of employees or interpreters was inaccurate. They fixed the list, now we do have the 30%. Now, let's wait to hear for the commission when they rule on these. Jeez, what do you think they'll say when they examine this evidence? Now, let's listen to Martha Hipolito. What does she have to say about the scheduling system?
Hi, my name is Martha Hipolito, and I have been an interpreter for 12 years here in Washington, and I am socially and medically certified. Since the new system kicked in with Interpreter Works, I've been having a lot of issues, which I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. One of the issues is that I lose appointments without having them canceled on me. For instance, when I check my agenda and I refuse to synchronize my agenda with their agenda because I don't want my personal life to be, for them to know what I'm doing every minute. So I keep my own agenda. So I write my agenda, all my appointments, and therefore I know what I'm supposed to be working on next day. So the night before I check, and sure enough, my appointments are there. But then next day, when I wake up and try to go through my schedule again, 1 or 2 appointments are gone without them being canceled or anything. And I don't get any notification of that those appointments being canceled. So the first 2 times when this happened, I called the agency, and they told me that they had no idea what was going on, that there was no record of such appointments being on my agenda or my schedule. And I didn't write the little numbers down that they gave us, the booking numbers, so it was my loss. So, but then the 3rd and 4th time that happened, I made sure I started writing all those numbers down. So when I called them, and the 3rd time, They said that they don't know what happened, that it wasn't a cancellation, but there was I gave them the booking number, and they said that they had no idea what was going on. First time, they never answered. They stopped answering after that. So anyways, that's one. Second is that there's no guarantee of them paying me what I'm working. So far I've only received 2 payments, and my first payment was about $120. Second one, I think it's like $600. But besides that, we never know when we're getting paid. And when I check the appointments, I still have a lot of appointments that I haven't gotten paid for. I really don't like the way they do the scheduling system on us. And when we're checking for appointment, we constantly have to be on our phones checking. Before, I used to be able to receive text messages from the agency, and that stopped about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, where I need to now check on my emails to be able to get appointments. And as you can tell, that takes forever. It's a slow system. Even to log on into the appointment, to scan the barcode, to go in, it takes about 3 to even 5 minutes to be able to get in. To get out, same thing, 3 to 5 minutes. And not just that, I found out that 2 of the clinics that I go to, they don't have the barcode where we can actually do it. They hide it, and when you're up there, then they offer it to you as soon as they found out that you're from Interpreter Works. And then to leave, same thing. I have to make a line until I'm able to get out, until I log out. Otherwise, I won't get paid. We're all definitely frustrated with the system. I don't like it. There's a lot of issues happening. We're not able to get through. Our emails are not being answered. So anyways, like I said, I don't like the system, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us don't like what's going on. I would rather have a dual system in this case, because a dual system allows us to choose how we get to work, allows us to either go through an agency or get our jobs directly the way we used to. I definitely support Washington interpreters because, well, first of all, I've known a couple people from there for a while, even prior to this, and I believe that they're here to help us, to support us, to guide us, and not give us all around about and all the BS that's going on. So, like I said, I'd rather have a dual system where we can have the freedom to work as we please. So yes, I definitely support dual system, and Washington interpreters, like I said, they're here to help us out. I definitely support an election. I'm waiting for the election to come by, where we can actually work together and choose, how we work. And what's better, having people who have worked in interpreting themselves to be able to know what we're doing, instead of having other agencies or other companies or whatever not doing what they are doing. And us interpreters who know what exactly goes on inside, we can better support each other. So definitely see you in the election, and thank you.
Hi again. You have seen the evidence. We will have an election. Now you're seeing these interviews with interpreters testifying as to how this implementation is not working for them and the majority of long-time established LNI interpreters. While we are fighting against the implementation, remember, we're fighting against it because they're doing so in the middle of an election process. Like we have said before, we are advocating for a dual system, and if interpreters want this scheduling system to stay, we will support it if that's what the majority wants. However, we also need to have the opportunity and the freedom to contract directly with LNI, as we have said and exposed ad nauseum. So please look in the description below to find instructions on how to send us your signed card. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't, in order to keep on getting more relevant information for our interpreting community. See you in the next video. Do not lose hope, and as always, God bless.